that you have people out of the country who cannot come home. They cannot come, they're stateless.
Finally, the Express is being fair and printing the truth.
We should be having trials, starting and finishing in 120 days.
What have you done to protect women and girls?
It must tell us that something is wrong.
This is Alibaba and 40 thieves in charge of Trinidad and Tobago today.
Pleasant good afternoon to all our viewers, locally, regionally, and internationally. First, I want to wish you all a very happy holiday. Today being the Corpus Christi holiday, I want to wish you all a very happy holiday. Today, ladies and gentlemen, as we get right into business, because of, as you know, all the different restrictions that are in place, and therefore, as a result of that, we need to get down to business. However, last week, I spoke into your hearing about a situation at the Point Fortin Hospital, which is now a COVID relief or a COVID emergency institution. And I brought to you some of the problems that the staff, the nurses and staff, what they are facing at that facility. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it's no different. It is with a heavy heart that I share some of the sufferations that our frontline healthcare workers continue to go through in this serious pandemic that is called the coronavirus that is ravishing Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time. Another document, however, reached in my mailbox. And this document, ladies and gentlemen, this document really have to do with what is happening at Point Fortin right now, this new facility and the step-down facility, which was the original Point Fortin area hospital. I told you last week that the nurses were expected to go into a 12-hour shift upon receipt of a memorandum that was sent there by the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Brian Amor. As a result of that document, ladies and gentlemen, we now find ourselves in a serious situation in Point Fortin. Before I get into that, I also told you that because of a lack of vision in the Point Fortin area, by making the two hospitals, the first one, which is the area hospital, which is now a step-down facility, and the new Point Fortin Hospital, which is the COVID emergency center. We had day before yesterday, a matter of fact, where a mother had to give birth in a moving vehicle as a result of no preparation, none whatsoever. This administration had not considered the pros and the cons in relation to utilizing all these facilities in Point Fortin, not putting in place an emergency facility or a facility that will be able to deal with emergency situation such as what happened the day before yesterday. A mother had to give birth in a vehicle. We are saying thank God today that as far as my knowledge, that the mother and the young infant, they are in good condition. But I am saying, ladies and gentlemen, that the government, something needs to be done because of the mass land space, because of the distance in order to seek medical attention. If some emergency should happen within the Point Fortin, Brea, Chatham, Buenos Aires, Coromandel, Cedros, the Carcass, Chatham, all these areas, we're looking at a mass amount of miles before those individuals would be able to access some sort of health care. That is unacceptable. That is irresponsible of an administration who's speaking about saving lives. Is it to say that we are concerned about saving lives on one hand and losing lives on the other? Something needs to be done, but we will talk about that at another time. Back in Point Fortin, ladies and gentlemen, this document that reaches me, it is a document that highlights the serious problems that Point Fortin Health Facility or healthcare workers now face. Ladies and gentlemen, point number one, this document is telling me that Point Fortin Health Facility is out of PPE. In this COVID facility, they are out of personal protective equipment, PPE, for our healthcare workers. This document is saying that they are given normal surgical masks upon entry into this COVID facility. This document is telling me that the N95 mask is not available in this COVID facility in Point Fortin. This document is telling me that they have to reuse, they have to wash and rinse their outfits, their PPE outfit, and it has to be reused over and over again because in Point Fortin there are no PPE for our healthcare workers. None. Ladies and gentlemen, these are frontline workers, the nurses and staff at Point Fortin. They are risking their lives. They are risking their family lives in order to save yours and to save mine and to save your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, husbands and wives. They are the frontline workers within this facility. And if you are saying, if they are saying that there are no protective equipment, how do you expect these doctors, nurses, and staff to perform in an effective manner, knowing that after work they have to go home to their loved ones, possibly taking the virus home to their families, not by their negligence, but by the negligence of the CEO, by the negligence of the CMO, by the negligence of the Minister of Health, Brian Amor must be held accountable if what is before me is indeed the truth and in fact what is happening at Point Fortin facility, then the CEO must go. When is not Point Fortin, is Cuva. When is not Brian Amor, it is Davlin Thomas. What is wrong with these CEO? It is a matter of putting the wrong thing in the right thing. That is one. Two, apart from no N95 mask, the nurses and staff at Point Fortin, they have now found themselves working not 160 hours, but they have now found themselves working 200 plus hours simply because there are no proper mechanism in place as to deal with the 12-hour shift. So what is happening, ladies and gentlemen, is that our nurses, they are now working 200 plus hours when their time should be 160 maximum. They are working 200 plus, not only hours, ladies and gentlemen, but they are working those hours without any overtime. These are nurses that their contract states 160 hours. We have our healthcare workers in Point Fortin now working 200 plus hours with no compensation. Mr. Brian Amor, I am asking you a question today. Is this indeed true and in fact that our healthcare workers working these type of tedious hours without any form of compensation, added to that, without proper PPE, added to that, because of the load and fatigue, and especially without proper PPE, the strain, the mental strain that is on our healthcare workers in Point Fortin, do you believe, Mr. Brian Amor, that our nurses and doctors and staff at Point Fortin facility would be able to demonstrate and to put out the best healthcare towards our COVID patients under these conditions? Added to that, ladies and gentlemen, the more serious issue is that I am now being told through a document that finds itself in my mailbox, I am now being told that we are now asked and they are demanding that we work within the red zone for 6 hours without any break. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, Mr. Brian Amor, I am asking you, if this is what is happening at the Point Fortin facility, something is definitely wrong. This document is saying that we are also asked Ladies and gentlemen, we are asked to wear a pampers. Our nurses and staff who would be working in the red zone in Point Fortin, they are now being asked to wear a pampers because there would be no break within the red zone because there is 19 and 20 patients to one or sometimes two nurses. So they are now being asked to wear a pampers where they must urinate and defecate and every other thing that go with that. You know, at some point in time, when these ladies time reach, they are also asked to place their sanitary napkins within a pampers and perform for 6 hours in the red zone. What mad, crazy, idiotic, dotish kind of a situation that the Ministry of Health is now placing our healthcare workers in? What madness? What madness is this? Brian Amor, what is this that we are hearing taking place in Point Fortin? What we are hearing taking place in Point Fortin, where our nurses are asked to wear pampers and to do everything within that pampers for 6 hours? Brian Amor, I want to ask you, if you want the nurses, question, if you want the nurses to perform in that way, I asking you to lead by example. Put on a pampers, urinate in it, defecate inside it too, and keep it on for 6 hours. And once you could do that, then the nurses and them would have no problem doing it. You lead by example. The problem with some of you that hold positions, whether because all you buy them or whether because some friend gave all you them, all you tend to rock back in a chair, not knowing, not being exposed to the danger of my nurses in Point Fortin Hospital. That is why all you could afford to send these kind of idiotic documents to the hospitals and expect our first responders, our healthcare professionals to perform under those conditions. Mr. Brian Amor, I am asking you to make a statement. I am asking you to make a statement and say to the public, tell the public that what we are hearing and the information that is coming out, and let me tell you something, I look here lie, you know. You know why I look here lie? A while ago, somebody tell me, hey, because I'm going to tell you what I like to do. I like to verify information because this is facts, not fiction. So I like to verify information. A matter of fact, I have now taken a new position. I am not going to share anything on Facebook that anybody send for me without verifying that it is authentic. Nothing whatsoever. Don't send nothing for me unless it's not truth. But let me tell you this. A while ago, someone told me, hey, the thing you're trying to find out, I see the Express have a little clipping on it. But hear what the Express do. The Express, for some reason, I don't know who they have to protect. So hear what's happening. They give you part of the story. And that is what they continue to do all the time. Give you some truth, part of the truth, but you cannot get the whole truth on none of those dailies. I don't know who they're protecting. If that to protect the bread and butter, if that to depend on the Rowley administration to give them advertisement and ads and so on for them to make money, I don't know what they're protecting. But to the end of the day, they're giving you part of a story. But let me tell you something. We on this side will give you the whole story. Whether it hurt you, whether it's sung raw in your ears, we gain you the story. And this is what the staff are now being asked to do at Point Fortin. Put on a pampers. Let me tell you something. My in-laws have a geriatric home. And let me tell you something. No patients, not a patient in that home, just keep on a pampers for more than 3 hours. And let me tell you something. As the staff check and see the pampers, whether wet with urine or whether the patient defecate in it, those pampers are immediately changed. So who is this mad bunch of people that trying to put this kind of pressure on my nurses in Point Fortin? Boy, or they better think again. Minister, somebody tell me that the express say that when they contact you for verification, you tell them contact Brian Amor. That is facts, not fiction. Minister, you have a responsibility, Terence Dialsing. Your responsibility. You is the boss man over the Ministry of Health. You are the man, you are the Minister of Health. You are the man to know exactly what some of your mad CEO and them is trying to instill or to inject within the system that you run. You have to know what's going on, Terence Dialsing. But let me tell you what I realize. One failure will only lead to another failure. And if the failure starts with Keith Rowley, Terence Dialsing, you is just a casualty. Brian Amor and Davlin Thomas, they are also casualties of failures. So to the end of the day, what you have is a bunch of failure. I am telling the healthcare workers in Point Fortin, do not subject yourself to that type of terrorism, because that is what it is. They are trying to terrorize you simply because you are on contract. And the first thing that they want to instill in you is that your contract can be revoked at any time. If this is the case, let Brian and Davlin and Terence and all of them, let them go Point Fortin and let us see about the patients and them there for themselves. You hear what I'm telling all the nurses and staff? Do not subject yourself to that. Terence Dialsing, before I move on to the next point, I want to ask you a question. What you and Keith Rowley, what you all did with the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, where that money gone, that my nurses, my doctors, and my staff cannot get N95 masks and cannot get proper PPE? Terence, all they wasn't boasting, all they boast for master needles, all they boast so much needles all have in reserve. Why all they don't take them needles? Take them needles, not noodles, needles. And try some kind of acupuncture. Try and stick them all over their head and see if you can get some brain. See if by those choking your head that enough oxygen will go in you and rowdy brain to help all you to function as Prime Minister and Minister of National Security and Minister of Health and Minister of Energy. Take all them thousands needle all there and just chuck some hole all over their head. Leave them there and see if enough oxygen will help all it to function. Because what Olia is doing to this country is destroying the fabric of this country. Where the money gone? What all you do with the HSF fund? Where the money gone, Terence? Keith, where the money? All the money you'll take out from the savings that all never put a cent in. And today, nurses and doctors had to reuse masks and reuse gong and wash it and bring it. A matter of fact, one of these documents, this document tell you that some of the nurses went to Price Mart. They went to Price Mart where they spend their own money and buy their own protective gear so that they wouldn't take COVID-19 home to their children and family. A matter of fact, one nurse said that as a result of the SOE, all the daycare centers are closed and her mom was looking after her kids. But because the nurse is honest, because the nurse loved her mother, she told her mother that we are working without proper PPE. And as a result of that, the mother no longer look after the children because she is afraid. Because poor mommy is afraid. Mommy is in age. Mommy afraid. She's afraid that because of a lack of PPE, daughter bring disease home and everybody die. Terence Singh, Brian Amor, where is all your heart, boy? All you have mothers too, boy. All you have mothers, boy. All you probably have wives also. All you have a heart for the healthcare workers now. They are the ones that is most at risk. They are the ones that putting out everything. They are the ones that vulnerable. Have a heart and prepare for these goodly nationals, these patriots. No, you cannot be doing that, man. Or you can't be doing that to the healthcare workers. Or you can't be treating the healthcare workers like that. Today or tomorrow, one only gets sick. It don't have to be with COVID-19. It's in the same health facility. Whether they'll have enough money to go by one of these big shot facilities, nursing home. To the end of the day, it is still men and women who have to look after all you. Come on, people, Trinidad and Tobago, this is something that you all must cry out to, cry out for, cry out about, make noise. This is our healthcare workers. They are the ones that looking after you. How could you have those individuals under those conditions in Point Fortin? I will have to say more about that as we go along. But let us move on. Nurses I am going to stand with you. I am going to raise every issue that you send to me, as long as it reaches my mailbox and it is the facts. I am going to raise it every time, all the time. That is a promise from me to you nurses and doctors. As a matter of fact, I am now making a national call for every nurse, doctor, every healthcare worker, administration, whatever. My number is 316-4468. Same number for WhatsApp. WhatsApp me any problems that you are faced with in whatever health facility you work, and I give you my word that I am going to raise it every week. Every week I am going to raise it. You could go back on the live anytime and get my number. 316-4468. So let's move on. I am now going to move in to another situation. And I want to read something for you. The headline, Daily Express, June 1st, 2021. Abdulla calls for PNM, UNC, COVID-19 truce. Abdulla calls for PNM, UNC, COVID-19 truce. And I quote, political leader of the Movement for Social Justice, David Abdulla, is calling for a truce between Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and leader of the opposition, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, to deal with the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis in the country. Abdulla called on the two political leaders to cease, listen good, to cease. Abdulla called on the two political leaders to cease the partisan attack at this time in the national interest. There will be ample time, he says, for party politicking after we have overcome the pandemic, said Abdulla. At the MSJ virtual news conference yesterday, he proposed that Rowley and Persad-Bissessar engage as co-chairman in a national roundtable discussion to deal with the physical and mental and economical social crisis that citizens were facing. We are proposing that they meet this week, just two of them, with no other supporting cast, said Abdulla. This rah-rah, listen them good, listen Abdulla, this rah-rah attacking and getting nasty, he said. This is just creating more and more doubts in the minds of society. He goes on to say, we cannot continue with this politicking, which is degrading in society. We are fed up of those nasty attacks. We are seeing more and more commentators and editorials calling for national unity. He said, since neither has, listen to this, I want you to listen to this very good. He said, since neither has the political courage to appear to given into the order, the MSJ propose the convening of a national roundtable, not in the context of any parliamentary body, but as an interim mechanism to deal with the COVID-19 crisis. I want to stop here. I want to stop right here. Mr. David Abdulla I am trying to understand, or for a better word, I am trying to comprehend your moral standing in society to make this call. I am trying to understand your moral standing in society to make this call. Mr. Abdulla, I want to tell you something here today. You see today, Corpus Christi, you see this holiday, Mr. Abdulla, I'm going to give you a present. And I'm giving you a good present. Mr. David Abdulla, first to begin, were you or were you not a part of the People's Partnership government? And while you're thinking about that, David, while you're thinking to know if you was a part of that government, would you at any time, while you're thinking if you was a part of that government, at any particular time, David Abdulla, were you promised the ministry of the people under the partnership? And if you was promised the ministry of the people under the People's Partnership, if you was promised, my next question is, why didn't you accepted it? So think about that by the time. You'll get a chance to answer in a little bit. But let me deal with facts here now. Mr. Abdulla, there is something within human and social biology. Let me go there. I'm going to rephrase that in another way, so you'll get the essence of what I'm saying. Mr. Abdulla, leaders must have testicular fortitude. So you could catch the drift where I was going. Leaders must have testicular fortitude. Men must have testicular fortitude. Leaders, Mr. Abdulla, doesn't have to try to be relevant in society. A leader relevancy does be determined by the leader action. And if a leader demonstrates a particular type of action, then that leader does not have to look to try to be relevant in any given situation. Mr. David Abdulla, you have no testicular fortitude. And I will tell you why. And we could do it better. Quarter debates. you, and Roger. I am going to debate you and Roger, call it publicly. And I will prove to you that you is a failure, Abdulla. You know why you are a failure? Don't try to draw the UNC into this hogwash that you talking that the UNC needs to come together with the PNM to find solution. David Abdulla, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, call on Keith Christopher Rowley on over 5 occasions to sit down and let us find a response to this COVID-19 virus. Keith Rowley is on record saying that he will not meet with the opposition leader and the UNC. So find some fortitude and come out and condemn Rowley, and don't try to ride on the back of the UNC. The UNC doesn't have any solid waste disposal truck. The UNC doesn't have any park disposal. So you better look for a ride on one of the PNM vehicle. Don't try to ride the UNC back and talk about my leader had to stop politicking and stop rah-rah-rahing and stop getting nasty and try to sit down with Rowley. You go and tell Rowley. Go and tell Rowley. If you find what he doing is nastiness, you go and tell Rowley that. If you find Rowley only politicking the COVID-19, go and tell him that. If you find Rowley is the one who have no plan, go and tell Rowley that. But don't try to ride the UNC back, Abdulla. We in the UNC, we don't have no place. We don't have no place to pick up any garbage by the side of the road. You can't ride the UNC back. Look to ride the PNM truck. Because that is what the PNM continue to produce in different ministries. That is what they're producing. If all you afraid Keith Rowley and all you can't stand up to Rowley because all your fortitude's chunky, that is all your business. If all you can't stand up to Keith Rowley because you have no guts, that is all your business. Don't look for help to condemn Keith Rowley. Condemn Keith Rowley by all yourself. Because when we have to condemn, we condemn on facts. We ain't condemning on what all you're condemning on. This is nothing but fiction. This is nothing. This is idiotism. That's what that is. So don't come here and talk about the UNC. And the UNC, you know, under this Westminster system, you more than everybody else know, because you was a part of the system. You know, David Abdulla, that the government have all the say when coming to decision making in relation to the governance of this Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. You know that. You know that. You, Keith Rowley and Ansel Roger, my advice to all you is to get a round table and put it in Woodford Square and all you discuss how Rowley use all you, how Rowley abuse all you, how Rowley papi show all you, and today all you is without the Point Fortin refinery, even though it was promised to you and Roger before the election. Jump on a round table with that. Put it in the square and sit down and discuss that. Don't come and talk nonsense about the UNC studying to Rara. Boy, let me tell you something. Abdulla, when we rah-rah on this side, we rah-rah in facts, my boy. When we rah-rah on this side, we rah-rah in the interests of the people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, my boy. When we rah on this side, we are rah-in for a betterment in this country. When we rah on this side, according to you, we are rah-in to improve the lives of citizens in this country. Not like you, or you just support the PNM in 2020, August 10th, or you support the PNM. Or they went in all the UNC strongholds and tried to mash up the vote to give the PNM an opportunity to win. Or they went Faizabad. Or they tried all the best against David Lee in Point Fortin. And the people rejected all you. You know why the people reject all you? Because the people already see all you as failures. As no hope for Trinidad and Tobago. So you doesn't have no power. You doesn't have no fortitude. You doesn't have no moral standing within this country to talk about the UNC boy. Shut all your mouth and sit down in a corner and take away Rowley girl here. If we go happy, a block of ice to suck that. And stay quiet in a corner. Suck the ice until it melts. That is what all you have to do. All your outer place. How dare you talk about the UNC rah-rahing and the UNC must this and the UNC or that. Boy, you, watch me. The MSJ, your own party, them don't listen to you. You think we have time to listen to you on this side? You think Rowley have time to listen to you? Boy, look, go back up Point Fortin and see if you're going to smell some of that gas. Because it looked like that gas some point up here interfered all your brain. All you can't even see when all you was getting out smart. All you couldn't even see when Rowley Papi showing all you. All you couldn't even see that all you was the thing that Rowley say not to think the thing. That all it was. The same thing when Rowley tell me don't think the seed. All you didn't even see Rowley was using all you at that thing. The 4-footed thing. The long tail thing that go E-or. That is what they have all has. That is what Rowley use all has. You come in here now to talk about the UNC. What the UNC have to do with the mismanagement of this government in relation to COVID-19? What the UNC have to do with the mismanagement of the economy of this government? What the UNC have to do with that? Stand up like a man. Stand up like a man with children and show them you have fortitude and condemn Rowley by yourself. We don't look for help to condemn Rowley, you know, because we just condemn Rowley on facts. You feel this thing is about condemning Rowley for condemning Rowley's sake? You feel this thing is condemning Rowley because we don't like Rowley? We don't like Rowley attitude. We don't like Rowley behavior. We don't like Rowley governance. But Rowley is a human being just like everybody else. So do your place, David Abdulla. You had your chance to talk in the people partnership. You listen to your comrades and them. You refuse the position. And all you walk out of the partnership. You walk out of the partnership. You have one choice. If you want to walk back in the UNC, get in line. Get your little self in line. Fall in and conform. And forget about this third party foolishness that all you talking about. And this third party with some all you. Let me deal with this one time as and that. I ain't come to deal with that, but let me deal with it one time. All your third party owners. All your third party owners. If all you're serious about being against the governance of the PNM, there is only one choice: to join with the major opposition party. It have no room for you. Let me say it again. All your third party, everyone all you, who pelt all their hat in the ring already and they even get as much vote as when I was an independent candidate. You all your third party, all your third party owners, all your third party owners, if all you're serious about being against the governance of the PNM, there is only one choice: to join with the major opposition party. It have no room for you. Let me say it again. All your third party, everyone all you, who pelt all their hat in the ring already and they even get as much vote as when I was an independent candidate. All of you pelt all your hat in the ring. And all you fail. But all you saying, all you opposed to the PNM. But let me tell you what is all your problem, you know. All you oppose the PNM, yes. But all your power crazy. You know why? If all you didn't power crazy, if all you wasn't power crazy, all you would have joined together with the main opposition who normally have 19 seats that none of you can touch. None of you can touch the opposition seats. So if all you're serious about changing the politics in Trinidad and Tobago, there's one choice. Join the major opposition party, which is the UNC, and let us work together and remove Rowley. Because the more all you stand up and go on platform and talk chupiting, according to my little son, chupiting, the more chupiting all you talk, is the more people laugh at all you, and the more stronger Rowley get. You know why? Because Rowley know once already divided, all you could never defeat him. And guess what? All you could never take a UNC seat. So two things is either you need some of the needles that I tell the health minister to chuck in the head for all you to get some oxygen in all your head too. So all your brains will work and know what watch. It's only one way to get rid of this Hitler movement. One way to get rid of it. Find all yourself in line. Or stay out there and shut all them out. Or continue talking the pack and rubbish that all let us talk. Kamla not in government, but all you. All of the social media activists, even some of we so-called activists and all. On social media, the UNC this and the UNC that, and Kamla this and Kamla do that. Boy, let's take a swim now. Do like Watson Duke and see if I could swim to Tobago, from Tobago to Trinidad, and see whether I reach somewhere in the Bocas, or let's go down there and see if I could find a rock for me. The first man come up with a stone, I will give him the position as the opposition leader. As I reach the Bocas, go head down and see if I could pick up a pebble. Because what I was saying, and nothing is the same. Right? So let me finish with Abdulla now. So Mr. Abdulla, I am saying to you, the UNC, we have no rubbish truck. We have no park disposal. And we have no pump to pump out what does be in the park disposal and them. You have to go and look for that by the PNM, Mr. Abdulla. All right, sir? And when you're going, let me say this one time. When you're going, carry Roger to pull the cord on the motor. Right? And then all you understand what Rowley make all less than anybody in this country, and nobody has no respect for you. Some of your own union members have no respect. They only are tolerating all you because the money outside. But to the end of the day, Rowley destroy all the labor movement right under all your nose. And if I was you, I would have changed that glasses I'm wearing, because that glasses have you not seeing good. All right? So I'm done with you for now. I will take a short break, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Welcome back. I hope that you're chilling, enjoying your holiday. Remember, no Zessa, because Gary boys will be visiting you, right? No Zessa. You could zest with your family, you only, okay? Stay safe. Let's go. So, Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, Minister of National Security. We have any picture with Fitzy there, right? Any picture where we could just show Fitzy? If we could just show Fitzy. If you can't find no one, well, no problem. But Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, what is wrong with you? Mr. Hines, feel free tomorrow morning, yes, Friday morning, to call the Prime Minister and tell the Prime Minister, look, I can't handle this ministry. I mean, I'm ambitious, yes, but don't do me that. Don't put me there. I've done it good looking already. Don't put me there to look bad. Don't do me that, Mr. Prime Minister. Ask him. Take my advice. Yeah. Oh. Fitzy boy, you're really looking good looking in this material here, boy. You see this material here, Fitzy? You're done in good looking. Tell the Prime Minister, boss, don't make me look more bad than thing really is. I can't handle it. Fitzgerald Hines, how it is in the Creator good name that Monday gone, we had Venezuelans boat in and out, and in and out, and in and out. You know that game, Fitzgerald Hines? You ever play in and out the dusty window when he was a little boy? When he was a chunky boy, you ever play that game? In and out the dusty window, in and out. You never played that game? Well, if you did play that game, you would understand what the Venezuelan boats was doing Saturday, Sunday, Monday, today, yesterday, and will be doing tomorrow, Friday too. You had to know. You are the Minister of National Security. And I have a question. I have a question for the Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith. While I support the efforts of the Commissioner of Police, I have a question for the Commissioner of Police. Commissioner of Police, my question to you, sir. Help me to understand. I ain't reached there to understand yet, but I will reach because I'm doing what is necessary to reach. But tell me, Mr. Commissioner, is the state of emergency and the curfew, is it Venezuelan nationals that enter in our country? Are those peoples exempted? If you could put that on a post, if you could put it out on your media briefing, so that the public, we will have a better understanding what is happening, and we may not criticize you wrongfully. Because I cannot understand how we are in a state of emergency. We had curfew from 10 to 5, and during the curfew hours, we had Spanish vessels entering our borders, offloading cargoes, picking up, and heading back out. Added to that, some of those vessels with 9 and 10 persons with no surgical N95 or construction dust mask on the face. I am yet to understand what is going on. And Commissioner, just in case you didn't see this video, I will have it play for you now that you could see it and Hines could see it. And I hope that you all could respond to it. Run the track.
Venezuelan fishing boat in and out of Trinidad. This is the third one that passed. Venezuelan fishing boat in and out of Trinidad. This is the third one that passed. Right outside Island of Mona's Coast Guard.
11:01 a.m. on Monday, Indian Arrival Day holiday. 1 hour and 1 minute after curfew. Curfew is not for Venezuelan fishing boat with a set of them on it. It's only for Trini.
Venezuelan fishing boat in and out of Trinidad. This is the third one that passed.
Is either all you in understand what's going on. Some all just naturally foolish. Some all just have no brain. And some all will just die like idiots. Let me tell you why. Ladies and gentlemen, the P1, the Brazilian variant, that is destroying this country at this point in time, it did not manufacture itself in Trinidad. It was imported through our borders. Fitzgerald Hines. It was imported through our borders. Today, we had Bloody May. We had hundreds of deaths as a result of our borders unsecured. Trinidad and Tobago has sounded an international, a local, and a national warning. 2 weeks ago, the India variant was found in north of Brazil. A couple days ago, Nicolas Rowley partner Maduro announced that the variant, the India variant, is now in Venezuela. Ladies and gentlemen, because of the lack of caring, performing, seriousness in relation to our health, this government continue to allow not only our borders to remain porous, but allowed Venezuela nationals to come in legally in our ports. Ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you that before long, the India variant will reach to the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. I want to reiterate, ladies and gentlemen, the India variant is now in Venezuela. The people in Venezuela continue to go through Maracaibo, where the Colombia border is situated. And through Maracaibo, they continue to go to Colombia and Brazil. And they go backward and forward. Ladies and gentlemen, before long, that variant will reach to your homes. Your family going to lose their lives. I am also appealing to these my street people, the groundsman, my yardie, my old boss. You heard the young people slang. All you upstairs ain't going to understand what I'm saying, you know. My dogs and them, my yardie, old boss. That is slangs that the youths use. That's the slang of those that hustle in the ghetto. I'm talking to you now, my dogs. I want to let you understand that while all you will make 100 US for every passenger that comes in illegal in Palo Seco, in Mondiablo, in Marac, in Moruga, in Rancho Quimado, in Los Ciro, in Cocal, in Porto Grande, in Chatham, in Cedras, in Icacas, while all you will transport one Spanish for 100 US. All you is also transporting the debt of your families. Because, ladies and gentlemen, every Spanish that comes to Trinidad is not a Spanish from Venezuela. We have Colombians coming in under the umbrella of Venezuelans. We have those from Margarita coming in. We have those from Brazil coming in. And everybody you see with brown or black or red skin that talks Spanish, you say it's a Spanish. Yes, it is a Spanish. But some of them is debt that you are mingling with. Ladies and gentlemen, homies, get a hustler rest. Get a hustler rest, homies. Yes, I know things hard. I know time hard. I know that 100 US per man could do wonders for you and your family. But it's also the demise of your family. You do not know which one of these individuals will be infected with even the Brazilian or the India variant. And when you tell yourself that you make a hustle for your family, is that you bring to the doorstep of your family. Homeboys are appealing to all you. Get a hustler rest under this condition. We going down fast enough because of a lack of proper protocols by this administration. We going down fast enough because this administration failed to act when they were supposed to. We going down further and fast enough because this government under Keith Rowley doesn't have a clue how to deal with this situation. And we will continue to go down faster because Keith Rowley, Stuart Young, Fitzgerald Hines, Faris Alwari, Colin Imbert, and the whole of this government not taking advice from you and me. They want no advice from us. And that is why our loved ones will continue to die. Homeboys, I'm pleading with you, rest our hustle. Get our hustler break. Get our hustler break. I'm begging all you. Get our hustler break. I know that hustle helping all you. I know that hustle putting food on the table. Something that the government failed to do under the crisis. Put food on the table. But listen, homeboys. All you bringing debt to all your family, boy. All you bringing debt to all your friends. All you bringing debt to all your loved ones. All you will lose all your woman. All you will lose all your own life. All you will kill all your mother and father by that hustle. That hustle is a dangerous hustle in this time, brethren. Yes, we know the borders open and we know they could come when they want. But I'm begging all you, get a hustler rest. Get a hustler rest for your community's sake. Your community will die because of that hustle. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a serious state. We are going to be devastated by this COVID-19 simply because our government never had a vision to protect us from this virus. Our government continued to lie with the figures. Our government continued to mismanage the affairs of this virus. Our government studying to blame everybody else but themselves. Our government will never stand up and say, look, Trinidad and Tobago, we all have made a mistake. And therefore, we are asking now, let's sit together and rectify the situation. This ignorant, pig-headed, whatever man that leading this country will allow your family to die. And let me tell you something. Some of you will die with it. You know why? Because all you will not stand up and tell all your leader where he went wrong. Every ideology that pops up in his head that he bring to the public domain, you all support that. Just imagine you as a people now supporting death to your own family. How much more ridiculous could you people be in terms of speaking about loyalty? You know what is loyalty? Loyalty is never a one-hand individual. Loyalty have two hands. And loyalty hands us meet in the center. You loyal to the people, I loyal to you. That is what it is about. It's not blind loyalty that all your family, all your loved ones dying, and all you still supporting that man. Let me tell you something. You see that party reach a stage that the country, when you hear that a country lost respect for a party and lost trust for a party, it is time for that party to rack up. Let me tell you something. I would have expected people like Brian Manning, Penelope Beckers. I would have expected persons like them to stand up and make statements saying that we're not going to support what is happening in our government. But you know something? All of them here, Rowley say, my last term. So you know what happening to all them deputies and all of them ambitious, want to be take over PNM, potential leaders doing? They are helping to support Rowley to look more bad, so when the time reach, them could look good. Let me tell you that again. I was expecting that some of those who have ambition of taking over the PNM, since Rowley say that this is his last term. If you want to believe or trust that, you could do that, right? But we ain't discussing that at this time. So I was expecting that some of those individuals within that party that I believe had moral values would have stood up and speak out, just like how Rowley speak out against Patrick Manning back then under the Call-the-Heart issue. I was saying that the world is a cycle. So just as how Rowley speak out as to what he believed was the ills of Patrick Manning, I say that those who have ambition of taking the PNM hem would have stand up, that they would have stood up and make it clear that they are not supporting what is taking place under the leadership of the PNM. But let me tell you the trick. They are contributing. They are assisting. They are helping Keith Rowley to navigate, to look more bad, to make it easy for them when an eternal election is called within the PNM. What a wicked, deceitful bunch of human beings that would allow this country to die to satisfy their own selfish, wicked ambition. That is hypocrisy. That is wickedness. That is distasteful. That is disdain. That is nothing to represent a leader. And that is what is happening in the PNM. They don't care how many more must die. They don't care about the death of your loved ones. They don't care about your family without food. They don't care about your children without education. They don't care how much of the black youths that the police have to kill. They don't care about the future of this country. They don't care about the young generation. All they care about is their political ambition. And you must understand, ladies and gentlemen, that if leaders doesn't demonstrate that love and that caring attitude towards you, you must reject them. What has this Prime Minister put in place for the unemployed individuals? They prepare a form for you. On that form, you must put your NIS number. You must put the last place of your employment. You must put the name of the institution. You must also put how long you worked in order to get a mingy $1,000 or $1,500. So the young man that haven't a job over the years, the man who gone into redundancy because of the decisions of Keith Rowley, the man who didn't have an education that he could have gotten a sustainable job, the man who planting and hustling by the side. There is nothing for you. Not even a hamper. Nothing for you. And then those who have will sit on some radio station and condemn you. Condemn you. You, the youth on the street. You who have nothing. You who don't know where your next bread coming from. You who have tried in every angle to get a job. And probably because you have a conviction, nobody believes that you can change, that there is no job available for you. You who comes out of the prison back in society, and as you reach out, society rejects you. This government have put nothing in place for you more than one shot, one kill. That is the policy of Keith Rowley. Keith Rowley stood up in a conversation with the Prime Minister in the East-West Corridor. And he said, what you want the police to do, aim for the foot. The youth camps were destroyed under that party. The trade schools was destroyed under that party. The MIC was destroyed by that regime. The NESC licked up by that regime. Nothing in agriculture to sustain you. And to the end of the day, they use you for a vote. Youth man, youth woman, and then they turn their wretched backs on you. Leave you to the wolf, to beg and to hustle. Some have turned to prostitution to survive. Some turn to stealing to survive. Nobody feel your pain, youths. Nobody feel your pain. Everybody condemns you. Nobody wants to know the reason why you are in a situation. Let me tell you something as I wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. This country wealth does not belong to the elite in that party. The wealth of this country doesn't belong to Keith Rowley. The wealth of this country doesn't belong to Stuart Young and Faris Alwari and Colin Imbert and Fitzgerald Hines. The wealth doesn't belong to Camille Robinson Regis. The wealth of this country, ladies and gentlemen, belongs to the citizens of this country. And we must seek and we must install a group of individuals who look after the well-being of every citizen in our beloved country. That was the mission of Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Kamla said to you, yes, I know I have made mistakes. She said it to you. But Kamla treated this country as a mother. No, we have a father who treated this country as a bastard. She treated this country with respect. Kamla put every form of mechanism in place whereby every creed and race could educate themselves. from university to secondary to primary to trade to culture, every aspect. And today we have a father who every chance he gets, he tries to beat our mother. But I want our father to know that there is children like me who do not tolerate our mother being abused. We don't tolerate bully. And if you don't believe that this father is a bully, I want you to listen to what the deceased father said. I want you to listen to what Patrick Manning said. You, ladies and gentlemen, you must judge for yourself. It was Patrick Manning who disclosed the attitude, the ridiculous behavior of the now father of this nation. It was Manning who said it. And if you was, or you still want to remain a true member, I want you to listen to what Patrick Manning said, and let us come together and move this bastard father from taking all the wealth that belongs to you, the children, and share it amongst family. Run the clip if you find it, Arch.
I see hate. Mr. Speaker, I see bitterness. Mr. Speaker, I see acrimony.
Exactly what the virus wanted, which was to bring people together during a pandemic. And who organized that, Madam Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, I see animosity. And Mr. Speaker, I see a man completely out of control. Completely out of control, Mr. Speaker. That is what I see.
This is going to be an Easter where anybody who wants to go to Tobago can go and come back when you want.
And that problem is not a new problem to me, you know. I was aware of the tendency for the honorable to go out of control since 1987. Argue your case. Everybody has a chance to do it. But not like my good friend. The minute you oppose my good friend, Mr. Speaker, the minute you oppose my good friend.
Well, 50,000 people did not go to Tobago. That is all part of the national fabric of lies that are being told.
He gets very, very angry. And if you oppose him strongly, Mr. Speaker, he becomes a raging bull. He becomes a raging bull. He becomes a raging bull. He becomes a raging bull.
Ladies and gentlemen, this government have collapsed in relation to this pandemic. I am asking you to now take all precaution and safety measures to safeguard yourself from this dangerous pandemic, while the Minister of National Security and the Prime Minister continue to leave our borders vulnerable so that many more of us will die. I urge you, take all the necessary precaution and let us stand together and let us demand the resignation of this administration. I go on.